If you're watching this video, I'm almost positive that you've had at least one app in your life switch to a subscription payment model in the past couple years. And based on comments I've seen online, as well as just on videos I've made about apps in the past, odds are at least one of those subscription prices have pissed you off. But I don't think that subscriptions are always bad, and I think there are some cases where they make total sense. So in today's video, I'm going to walk you through what I think are the three general categories of subscription apps, ranging from the completely reasonable all the way over to the totally unacceptable. So what's the first category? The first category I would say are apps that have a very clear and sometimes very significant ongoing cost to operate. Effectively, these are apps where in order to keep the app running, the developer needs to pay for something to happen in the background. If the developer goes out of business, stops paying their bills, then you suddenly can't use that app. And I think a good, clean example of this is Carrot Weather. Carrot Weather is a paid premium weather app. It's a really good app. It's the weather app that I use. And it's a subscription-based app. I think you can use it for free and you get a limited functionality, but in order to really get the full experience, you need to pay a subscription. And it's a little on the expensive side, but the app does a lot of stuff. But all the details aside, I think Carrot Weather makes total sense to be a subscription because the weather data that the app is using, is accessing for you to get you the forecast and radar and stuff that you need, all of that costs the developer money. And so it makes sense that they are going to have a subscription to maintain the ongoing use of the app. Okay, so real quick from the edit here, I just wanted to mention that yes, there are free weather apps on the App Store or the Google Play Store. Just remember that these free weather apps are often either showing you ads or they're selling your data so that other people can show you ads. They are not actually totally free because these companies need to make money as well. They need to offset their costs as well. So they are making money. They're just not charging you directly. And whether you're okay with that is going to be a totally different thing. But if you want a privacy-focused app, Carrot is really good for that. And if you don't want to pay anything, the really only serious options, I think, are the built-in weather apps on iOS and Android. So that's it for me. Back to the video. They can't really charge up front because maybe they charge you $5 up front and then you use the app for 5 years. You at some point become unprofitable for them, and it puts them in a weird spot where the more you use their app, the worse a customer you are to them in a way because you're costing them more and more money. So for Carrot Weather, for other apps like this, basically anything with a server-side component, those are going to be things that I think make a lot of sense to be subscriptions because the more your customers use the app, the more it costs the developer, and it needs to be sustainable for everybody involved. So I think for that category, it makes total sense to have a subscription. And I should clarify that none of this is to say that you have to be happy about every single app that goes subscription. I totally understand the additional financial burden is frustrating. As a user, it is frustrating to take something that you were getting for free or that you paid for a couple years ago. Now you have to pay on a regular basis for. Totally appreciated. That's annoying. But I'm just saying that if you look back at like the history of weather apps, for example, a lot of those apps that you paid up front for years ago, a lot of them don't work anymore because it just became not financially viable for them to function, whereas a subscription model lets these apps live on for longer. The second category is where we get into more controversial ground, I think, and it's definitely a case-by-case basis where you think this is worth it or not. But these are apps that are undergoing consistent development. They're continually improving, and you as a user can see the updates rolling in. You can see the new features and functionality coming to the app, and it feels like it's actively developed software. And this usually only works for productivity stuff that's really essential to your workflow. But I'm thinking about apps like Ulysses or Craft or something. Like Ulysses especially is a writing and note-taking app. It runs on all of Apple's platforms, and it piggybacks a lot on iCloud and iCloud storage for all of your stuff. So the developer doesn't have massive server costs they need to pay for. At least I don't think they do. And if they went out of business today, I could keep using the app until it no longer works on Apple's operating systems because it's all just using iCloud. It's all just using my own stuff. I don't need the developer to keep doing anything on the back end. But they do charge a subscription and they do update the app on a regular basis to add functionality. And I think depending on how you feel about the app, how important it is to you, how you feel about the updates that they're adding, I think it can be reasonable for apps like this to charge a subscription because you're paying the developers for their time, for their effort. They still need to get a salary. They still need to get paid on a regular basis. And in that case, it can make sense. Like I said, I think this is a little more controversial. Some apps, it'll be worth it to you. Some people will be like, I can't live without this app, or I love this app, I love what they're doing with it, and I'm happy to pay a subscription. Other apps are like, it's not that useful to me, it's not that core to my work or anything, so I'm going to go with a either free option or a pay upfront option because I don't want to have ongoing costs for this. But this one's, again, definitely more in the middle ground. And this third category is the reason we're making this video today, because every once in a while you come across an app that has absolutely no justification to be a subscription. They're just doing it because they think they can. And the example I want to shout out today is a little hard for me to say because I really like the company, I really like the products this company makes. It's Canon. So Canon, which I'm actually shooting on a Canon camera right now, is a Canon EOS R6, a camera that I've spent thousands of dollars on and have given Canon tons of my money already. If I want to use this as a webcam for my computer, which is a very reasonable thing to want to do, they do have an app for that. It's called the Canon EOS Webcam Utility. Had to check my notes. But it's the Canon EOS Webcam Utility, and you can just install it on your Mac. It's a free download. You install it, and then you turn it on. And I got on a video yesterday, and I was like, why does the video look kind of bad? Like, I'm using an incredibly fancy camera that I know I'm going to look at this video afterwards and it's going to look great. Why does it look bad? Well, the free version of the app only lets you do 720p video and 30 FPS. If you want to do 1080p, which is not the highest resolution the camera supports, but okay, 1080p and 60 FPS, that you need to subscribe. It's a subscription app to run your camera that you bought with your own money on your computer that you also bought, to use it as a webcam. To get the higher quality, you need to pay a subscription. And what is a subscription? Is it like $5 a year, maybe like $10 a year? No, it's $5 a month or $50 per year to use your Canon camera as a webcam in a relatively high quality. Like, it's absolutely insane to me that they're trying to charge a subscription for this. I've looked at the history. They have updated the app a couple times, but they haven't added any notable functionality. It is just a subscription for no reason at all. And it's so rare for these to come up. Thankfully, I feel like it's so rare for these to come up. Hey, Editor Matt here one more time. Different shirts, different day. But wanted to clarify that while it is rare for this sort of just filth subscription to exist in the world of apps that I'm typically using, like the productivity high-end apps, it is definitely much more common on the App Store. There's a bunch of just filth out there that's going to be like a wallpaper app that's just a bunch of JPEGs bundled up into an app that is going to charge you like $5 a week. I totally understand those are out there. Those are filth. Those are definitely in this category as well. They just didn't come to mind while I was recording the video. So wanted to call that out because, yeah, those are trash as well. There's no server-side component. Well, that's technically a lie. There is a server-side component in that it has to phone home to see if I'm paying the $50 per year to use this advanced functionality. I just wanted to plug into my computer and use it as a webcam. This is insane to me. So there are very few apps that do this, thankfully, but there are some out there, and I think that this is just, it's wild to me. This app should be free. Canon cameras, this is especially, it's for EOS cameras, which are expensive cameras, very expensive cameras. These are people who have given Canon tons of money already. They've committed to the platform. Once you buy a Canon camera, you're buying Canon glass. You're buying, like, you're in the Canon ecosystem at that point. So it's crazy to me that they're also looking to nickel and dime you $5 a month, $50 a year to use your very high quality camera at relatively high quality settings for a webcam. It's wild to me. So yeah, that's the reason I made this video. I do think there are lots of good apps that are subscriptions. I'll put links to a couple apps that I pay a subscription for, and I'm happy to pay a subscription for because I understand the value they provide. I understand the cost of the developer, and I want to make sure those things continue into the future so I can keep using them. But yeah, there's some things like this. Maybe I'll throw some links to ones that I think are a little egregious in the description as well. Don't want to call them out by name in the video, but yeah, there's some that are just really egregious, and had to talk about this one specifically today because it blew me away. So that's it for me today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you here next time. Bye-bye.